In this video, I will try to prove that Jethro, the father-in-law of Moses, and the Cainites are the most underappreciated people in the entire Bible and deserve to be studied and recognized way more than they currently are. I will accomplish this using the Ten Commandments, the text of the Torah, Talmud, midrash, zohar, gematria, including the atbash cypher, and even the Torah codes. Consider sticking around to the end of the video for something surprising concerning the Cainites and the menorah. So we'll begin immediately here in Genesis 15:19. This is the covenant made with Abraham, known as the covenant between the pieces, or the covenant of the parts. And we have 10 nations listed here. And the very first one is the Cainite, or the Cainites, and then the Kenites and the Canaanite. We will be focusing here on the Cainite because that is Jethro's title and one of his names. He is a Cainite. And it's interesting, many of you will know what this is, the tree of life, and many sages put the Cainites right here. So as I said, there are 10 nations listed here, and they put them on these 10 sephirot, or these 10 spheres on the tree of life. Many put the Cainites right at the very top in this sphere called keter. And keter means crown. And you'll see here the Cainite, Kenites, and Canaanite, and then they have keter, chokmah, bina. And the keter is associated with the first one, the Cainite. And this is very interesting to me because keter, the crown, as in the crown of Torah, has the value in gematria 620, which is perfect because the text that we'll be studying here today, which is the text of the actual 10 Commandments, has 620 letters. So the text of the 10 Commandments is made up of 620 letters, and it is the crown. So we get the 10 Commandments in the portion of the Torah which is named after Jethro. Here you see the very beginning of the Torah portion where we get the 10 Commandments at Sinai from Yitro, or Jethro. And there's something perfect about this as well, because if you take ha-Torah, the Torah, it has the value 616, which is the exact same value as the name Yitro. So Jethro has the same value in gematria as the Torah. So it makes sense that the Torah would be given in the Torah portion named after Jethro. And here's a little bit from the Zohar. Came Yitro, illustrious high priest and a master of all other deities, and praised the Holy One, blessed be he, and said, "Now I know that Hashem is the greatest of all the other gods." It was only then that the Holy One, blessed be he, went up and was made known in his greatness on high and below, and then the Torah was given in its entirety, that it may reign over all. And now we'll get into how and why Jethro got the name Cain, or the Cainite. According to our Kabbalists, Moses was a reincarnation of Abel, whereas Jethro was a reincarnation of Cain, hence his name Heber ha-Caini, Heber the Cainite. Many of you will not know this unless you've seen the other videos, but Heber is also a name given to Moses. So not only is it a name given to Jethro, as we see here, it's also a name given to Moses. So all these names are referring to Moses, and it says here he was called Heber because he connected the Jewish people to their Father in heaven. Most people will not be aware that Moses and Jethro share a name. So now let's get right to the text of the 10 Commandments. Here we are in Exodus 20, verse 5. You shall not bow down to them or serve them. He's talking about idols here, or other gods. For I, the Lord your God, am an impassioned or zealous or jealous God. So this, in many translations, is, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God. Now here is the word for jealous. It's very similar to cainite. It's kana. So you can see the word for jealous right here, which is very interesting because it's connected to Cain. Cain became jealous of his brother Abel. And then that's the reason Cain eventually killed Abel. It was over jealousy. So Cain and Kana are connected in all the sources and in the Torah. And we see that Jethro is called by 7 names. There's Jethro, the aforementioned heber, and then we have cainite, which means cainite. So he is from Cain. As we mentioned, he's a reincarnation of Cain. And here we are back in Exodus 20, this time verse 7. And I'll show you how that he is hidden in this verse. You shall not swear falsely by the name of the Lord your God, for the Lord will not clear one who swears falsely by his name. Check out this word. Do you notice anything? It's ha-caini spelled backwards. So it is in the reverse order. What's interesting about that is if you take this word, which is ha-caini backwards, punch it in, you'll find that it has the same value as the name Naamah. Now, who is Naamah in the Torah? Well, she is the sister of Tubal-Cain. She herself is a Cainite. So this word that is ha-caini, the cainite backwards, has the same value in gematria as a woman who is a Cainite. And many of you will know that this woman, Naamah, went on to become the wife of Noah. So let's go back to verse 5 for a second, where we saw that God is a jealous God. And I'll show you something very interesting. The Cainites are also encoded using the Torah codes, the ELS Torah codes, in this verse. Here it is. Now, if you take the He from the name of God here, the name of Hashem, and then you take the Kuf from zealous or jealous, and then you count. So here we're using a skip of every 8th letter. So we'll skip 7 letters, come to this one. Skip another 7, come to this one. Another 7 here, and another 7 here. What does this spell? Ha-Cainim, the Cainites. So not only is he hinted at here, and then in a later verse, spelled backwards, he's actually encoded. Actually, all of the Cainites are encoded in a simple ELS code in this exact verse. And again, all of this is given in the portion of the text named after a Cainite, Jethro. Now this is extremely interesting. If you take ha-cainim, the way it's spelled here, you'll notice you'll find it elsewhere in the Torah associated with the menorah. So these are like the branches or the rods of the menorah. This verse here is describing the many aspects of the menorah, and here we have the cainim, which are the branches or the rods of the menorah. Now, check this out. If we take that word that spells ha-caini or the cainite backwards, let's use the atbash cypher, which means to turn exactly like this word. Let's turn the entire Hebrew alphabet 180 degrees so that the first letter is representative of the last and will be substituted by the last, and the second to last letter would be substituted by the second letter. It would be similar to how if there was an A, you would substitute it with a Z, and if there's a B, you would substitute it with a Y. So you're turning the alphabet 180 degrees, just like this word we said is ha-cain backwards. Look what then happens when you use the atbash cipher. This word ha-cain has the exact same value now as the branch of the menorah, the cain of the menorah. So here we've got it associated with the menorah. Then we have ha-cain spelled backwards. Then if you switch around the order of the alphabet, it's again associated with the menorah. And why is that significant? Why would it be significant? Well, the Cainites, what do we know about them? The Cainites were coppersmiths and metal workers. What was the menorah made out of? A single piece of beaten gold. Now, these guys were metalsmiths. Do you think there could be some connection there?